Thank you, Chairperson Myung-Tai. We have quite a few co-sponsors. They have a representative among us. I would like to call upon when I recognize them with their representative, the presidents or their representative, just stand up so that we can, thank them. 咱有足侪迄款的，咱的同会和咱做伙办吼。第一个是画拍洛杉矶 County Chapter 老国军会长伫遮吼，请大家来感谢一下。咱有画拍 Orange County 的会长尼古嘛是咱这中间，所以咱是赞助他们吼。有迄个 Friends of Taiwan 的会长 Mr. Ted Anderson。有台美公民协会会长赖慧娜，有台美航太协会的代表上伫遮吼，会长陈启忠安尼搁有上伫遮吼，这几位吼，咱有对教授协会，咱教授协会南关州分会有人代表伫遮无？咱再来看。Those are the sponsors of our group. Okay, today's format, we call today's events as a forum. Forum means it belongs to the people participating in this forum. So after the presentations, we're going to open the forum to everybody so that you have a chance to make the statements or ask a question to the expert on the stage. So when you have questions, we would like you to line up over there and just any question is welcome. There's no question too small and no question too big. And they can handle everything, I can guarantee you. Thank you. We also have quite a few members of Congress, House of Representatives, who are true friends of Taiwan. In the last couple of years, worked very hard to support Taiwan's security and prosperity, and also democracy. And today, Mr. Ed Royce, the chairperson of Foreign Affairs Committee of the House, will be with us. He is on his way. So once he comes, he will say he will update what's going on in the Capitol Hill right now. And I will, because he had quite a few good news to share with us. And okay, now, without further ado, I would like to turn the microphone to the first speaker, Dr. Simon Lin. Dr. Lin, it's a, how should I say it? It's a fiction. Can you say that? A fiction of Taiwanese American community here in Los Angeles. Is there anyone that doesn't know him? No. Oh, okay. Nobody. So you're well known in this community. So let's save time, not save the interview. In any way, I want to mention one thing about Dr. Simon Lin. Back in 15 years ago, when we celebrate 20 years anniversary, he was the chairperson of Taiwan Center Foundation. He organized a commemorative events. 900 people show up with Dr. Peng Min and quite a few experts. How many people was there in Lok Mohawk? How many people was in that events 15 years ago when we had that? Raise your hands. Not many people. So he's one of the in-house experts on this Taiwan Relation Act. Without further ado, I will turn the microphone to Dr. Simon Lee. 咱来欢迎林秘书。He's going to talk about Taiwan Relation Act from a Taiwanese American perspective. Thank you.
Hi, Chairman and all the panelists and the audience, ladies and gentlemen. Even up to now, I still don't know why when Chet invited me, asked me to present this issue, because I'm a medical doctor. I'm neither an expertise like the panelists, nor majoring in this political science. But he trusted me, so I do my best. And I think the reason why he invited me to do this presentation is that my generation is also your generation. We belong to the same generation, share a same background. Like right now I'm 60, and our growing past, our educational past are so weird. The first 30 years in Taiwan, I was educated as a Chinese. All the school taught us the history of China, very little about Taiwan. And then I immigrate here, I found out Chinese and Taiwanese are different. So from Chinese to Taiwanese. And several years later, I'm becoming American. So in my life, I share 3 characters in my whole body or in my mind: Chinese, Taiwanese, and American. So I know that I'm a doctor. There's a disease in medical terms, say bipolar disease. Okay, either very calm or very high, and I have 3 characters in my body. So I just use this character to do this presentation because I understand Chinese mentality, and I have a feeling of us a Taiwanese, and I'm for U.S. interest. So I have 3 characters, and I'm going to say from that standpoint, so it might a little bit different from the expertise, and I hope you find it interesting, but mostly convincing. I hope. Okay, next. Okay, the topic, the backward. The topic is what are Taiwanese people's views on TRA? Why I say it's Taiwanese people. Taiwanese just like American, because not all the Taiwanese people think they are Taiwanese. Some think they are Chinese. Next slide. Okay, the people on Taiwan. That's on the TRA that law. Everything is people on Taiwan. People on Taiwan are very complicated. I'll tell you the latest poll. 58.2% identify themselves as I am Taiwanese, not Chinese. Over half. That's good news. That has been changed. That has been changed. That's a big change from what I experienced 30 years ago. 37% is not minor. Think I am Taiwanese, but I don't mind people call me Chinese. 我是中国人，也是可以台湾人，我可以台湾人也是中国人。So in Taiwan, you still, in the conversation, you can tell that it's coming. Oh, 我们中国人, we Chinese, right? Still, it's getting less and less. But that's very common sentence. 我们中国人怎么样子，我们中国人怎么样子。So still, if you add on the 2%, 2.3%, I think for themselves, I'm not Taiwanese. They are Chinese, 2.3%. I think that's mostly a 49er. I mean, the first generation, they come to Taiwan with Chiang Kai-shek. I call them 49er. I don't want to tell them poison. I hate to say it because if you in Taiwan, you're a citizen of Taiwan. You belong to Taiwan, you are not poisoned. But I call them 49er because they tell me that time. Next. Also, for Taiwan's future, it's also pretty much the same. People don't know where to go. Mostly say, okay, we just wait and see. I think this poll is very, very credential, right? 50% think they want the status quo. They want to keep at the same and see what's happening. Of course, now for independent is more than unification, but that's a trend. But pretty much all 50% still sit there and watch and looking for what will be the next step and next direction. Next. And we just mentioned about the background of the TRA, Taiwan Relations Act, and I don't have to say more about that. But when it happened in December 1978, what the main concern of people of Taiwan? At that time, it's still under Chiang Ching-kuo's dictatorship regime. At that time, it's a shock, right? But this main is two concerns of Taiwanese people. Number one, of course, is security. Because U.S. is our safety net, but safety net is going to go away. We depend on the 中美共同防疫条件 Sino-American Mutual Defense Treaty. It's gone. So what I don't handle with one of the Conway, right? People are worried, right? How to handle now? America is gone. Truth is gone. Truth is gone. And what happened to us? Who's going to protect us? Right? Number one, they worry about their security, right? Number two, about my money. My money. So that's how to keep the business as usual. So I can continue to make money. I think that's the main concern. So at the very last, my last recommendation, my conclusion, I'm go back to these 2 points. In people's mind, I'm ordinary man, right? Ordinary man, very simple. Security, and I want to survive, and I want to reach. And the people here, they might more respect about human rights, something like that. But ordinary people, that portion is not first priority. They're talking about security and money. Next. Okay, what happened? I brought out a few pictures from it's very interesting because at that time I was still in Taiwan and I witnessed everything. But I didn't see the whole thing because I was in Kaohsiung, but on the newspaper, mass media, a lot of report. In December 1978, when Carter made that announcement, Carter sent the Deputy Secretary of State, Warren Crispo, to come to Taiwan to not negotiate, just report, so that Chiang Ching-kuo feel better. They only, how many people know the story about this? Of course, a few, right? Not many people. I mean, most of the people are already in the United States, right? Look at the face of you, I think most of the people are already in the United States. At that time, look at that. These are first students arrived in Taiwan history. Now we talk about student movement, but at that time, look at the face, all students. Still don't know how immobilize to get students up there, but they believe it is organized by KMT. Because that's still under, Taiwan still under martial law at that time. Okay, and the picture here with the poker face is a very famous poker face. Very serious. Is Warren Christopher. So when their car on the way to the hotel, they were attacked by the riot people, mostly as students. Per record, the Christopher had a glass cut because the car, the window is all broken. So he got a bullet what we come. And the one with him is ambassador to at that time is ROC, named Leona Uncle Zhi. His glass was broken because you know how close those students to those two people. So that at that time people is angry, very angry. How US can treat us like this? And also people are very panicked in Taiwan. I remember. Next day, I still remember very vividly. The newspaper showed the people outside the embassy, U.S. embassy in Taipei, to ask for visa. All the way go around the block, possible block. They are so worried. They will get out of Taiwan. They are so panicked. Actually, at that time, some people make a lot of money because they try to sell the real estate. I want out of here. So they sell another house with real estate. If you get involved with that time, buy some house, now you're a millionaire. Or billionaire, yeah. Okay, this happened in Taiwan. How about happened in the United States, in embassy next? At that time, Taiwan in the United States have a lot of assets. How about foreign exchange reserve? What happened to those billion of dollars of money? How to handle those? Is China, is Red China, you're going to get it? And then the very famous story about Twin Oak mentioned in Washington, D.C. Just entertain with a little bit history here. Since Richard Bush is not here, I have more time to do it. This mentioned the ROC embassy started rent that property since 1937. Until 1947, used the price of $450,000. ROC bought that property. Use Chinese name. Use ROC's name. But when it happened, at that time, Carter terminated the relationship with ROC within 7 days. The embassy sold that property to 自由中国协会 Friends of Free China Association with a tax money of $20. These are common. $20. Literally just give away. Then when in 1982, because the association, Free of China Association, want to sell the property for benefit, and ROC bought it back in 1982 with an amount of $2 million. So at that time, you can see that how desperate the embassy people is so worried about what's going to happen next. Okay, next. Of course, after that, they have AIT and what's all they call. But I just wonder, in Taiwan, at that time, how she still is trying to get the relationship in between this entity, I mean, the Taiwan and US, like government to government. So they say there's a government to government. Government to government is from there, because they want government to government. But it's
resume our normal broadcasting.
Okay, I'll speed up a little bit, okay? The winner of both sides, you know, US is AIT, right? And I still puzzle why we have to use different names. Why not TIA, Taiwan Institute in America? It's so nice, right? You have to about equal part. Nobody know what it means. And then you don't use Taiwan, now you use Taipei now. Because at that time, you may be able to use Taiwan, but you lost the golden opportunity. Now, because Taiwan gets weaker and weaker, you only can use Taipei now. Okay, so the people here in the embassy or TECRO, they thought they enjoyed the same immunity. But look at the case in Kansas City, Jacqueline Liu. US only offer you so-called functional immunity, not absolute immunity. So Jacqueline Liu was found guilty and sent to jail, right? But eventually was exported. So the embassy here is not de facto embassy like somebody said. I mean, no, the TECRO here is a second-rated or downgraded, I mean, embassy. Next. Okay, talking about TIA. Next. If TIA doing a good job in these 30 years, this month 35 years, right? Of course, it must be good. Why? Because Taiwan's still there, right? So it must be doing a good job, and without changing any sentence. And Japan even think about JIF, Japan Institute. No, sorry, Taiwan Institute in Japan, so should be that way. So TIA have two words, very, very major words, so-called strategic ambiguity. That seems to can handle everything. Actually function well in these 35 years. But if you look inside, there's no serious commitment there. It's something either boycott, embargo, whatever, the military attack, whatever, to Taiwan. What's happened? The only great concern to the United States. What is mean great concern? Great concern can be like George W. Bush said, I'll do whatever it takes, right? Right? Or also can be great concern is maybe treat Taiwan as a Crimean, right? Where's the Crimea now? In the hand of Russia. Have you ever felt that President Obama paid any attention to the TIA? Or straight relationship? I don't see that much. So it's all in the hand of the administration, in the hand of president. Okay. Now this TIA is a paper tiger. 安公子老虎，你用哈给，就讲 great concern，可能就无到就讲 great concern。Okay, let's prove it. Next. No, it's not a paper tiger. Actually, it means something. The best example is the cross-strait crisis in 1995 and 1996. 1995 is when current president of ROC, Li Denghui, visit Cornell for alumni or whatever, and China is very unhappy. So they take some action. And after that, Taiwan is going to elect their own president by general vote. So China is so mad. So what happened? Besides the military exercise, they even fired the ballistic missile just on the way, the facing Taiwan. And I still remember that the 1 week before the election, 2 missiles, one landing only 21 miles north of Keelung, and one landed 32 miles west of Kaohsiung. It's such a very short distance. And I still remember that. He tried to block the first presidential election. I still remember. We all go back to vote, right? In 1996. This happened only 1 week before the election day. Before that, airplanes all fully booked. You cannot find any seat. But when I take the plane, go to Taiwan to vote, it's only 90% seats are empty. And I know a lot of people here, they plan to go there, but their family say, don't go, you're going to have a war there. Don't go. I know that I have quite a few physician friends, they bought a ticket, but their daughter not allow him to come to Taiwan to vote. So actually, it's very close to war, and of course, that's a compound, but still, that's very intimidating, right? Next. This shows the picture that how close those missiles landing so close to Taiwan, and these are the exercise area. Next. At that time, what US do? And he had a great concern. Maybe he can use language or something, economy boycott or something. But Bill Clinton sent the aircraft carrier group to the water around the Taiwan area, so that this limits. And he also sent another one. The airplane carrier is independent. Next. Okay. This always a big argument. Taiwan always emphasized on TIA and also 6 assurance. And Chinese always mention on 3 communicate, right? And which one had greater weight? I don't know if it's true or not. In late 1970, the Congress, the House passed a resolution saying because TIA is law, so it's over the communicate. But I check Google. It's not sure. They need to be proved. So China is always try to push for forced communicate, try to override TIA, and the Taiwan try to push for Taiwan Security Enhancement Act. After that, we almost get there. In 2000, they passed the House of Representatives, but it was not approved by the Senate, so it never became a law. But at that time, actually, it's very close. I think the 4 of our people should know that. Next. Okay. And about the arms sale. The Reagan signed a contract, A1, the communicate, the third communicate, so-called A17. They said, U.S. should decrease the arms sale to Taiwan, right? But in 1992, George Bush sold 150 F-16 to Taiwan. So it's all the concept of ambiguity. That's how they break. Next. Okay, there's some votes in Taiwan. 3 kind of votes. Number 1, in the TIA, it's only covered Taiwan and the Pengfu, that's it. The Jinmen, Mazu, Wuzhou, whatsoever is not included. So if China want to take over this area, go ahead, because America is not going to get involved because it's not in the TIA, not in our contract. There's no contract covered there. And some people literally say, why? They don't understand it. I don't understand either. I'm just a doctor, I don't know politics. Oh, okay, maybe, okay. And some people who hate U.S., quite a few, they say the whole purpose of TIA is trying to make money because you buy arms, buy weapons, buy aircraft from U.S. So actually U.S. just want to make money from us. Oh, there's another voice. But the third one, when TIA just started, it mentioned about human rights. Because Taiwan was still in dictatorship at that time, and U.S. tried to apply that value to Taiwanese people. So they very emphasize on the human right. And right now, either human right, or I just heard the Black Germans a statement about self-determination. I like that. Because people say human right is self-determination is part of human right, right? Yes. Yes, okay. Maybe the majority of the Taiwanese, they vote they want independent. That's human right. They should respect it, right? So that's another voice. Although Bill Clinton, when he visited China and announced this one in Shanghai, he knows, 1997. 1 year ago, he sent the airplane, aircraft carrier to Taiwan water, and next day he says free now. So that's how the president had dual personality. Next. Okay, now it's come to my point now. It's kind of very shocking now. If TIA is still needed in next 35 years? Probably not. I'll tell my point. Under two conditions. Number one, if Taiwan still controlled by KNC and follow Ma Ying-jeou's approach, what kind of approach? Pave the way to unification. Ma Ying-jeou never say anything about unification in public speech. But everything he does right now is for unification. Everybody agree? That's how we do right now. So they're going to take Taiwan one step closer to China. Number two, China continue to give carrot to Taiwan instead of stick. They use carrot. If this one continues until people on Taiwan fear no threat to China, and Taiwan economy totally depend on China. If Taiwan and China sign a peace agreement, if the China remove the missile along the coastline, what's going to happen? Show what's going to happen to Taiwan and what happened to the US. That may happen. Okay, because China know it take over Taiwan, it's easy to buy them by force. Next. Now it's increased voice that US should abandon Taiwan for better US-China relationship, right? A lot of people, a lot of scholars say that. How about Taiwan abandon, say goodbye to US? Which matter? I don't say it's in near future, but if that may happen, I think so. I'm going to tell you the mentality, the structure of that. China matter to US, but Taiwan matter to US. That's my point next. Is any possibility China and US gonna have a war? What do you think? Yes. Do you think so? You see, most people they believe that. Maybe some Americans they don't understand it, but this is very important. I want to conclude on this. This is my point. Maybe the panels here does not agree on my point, but I have a very strong feeling about this. Number one, for 3 reasons. Number one, US never been a friend of China. Yeah, by the history, Korean War, Vietnam War, and the Chinese call American, it's American imperialism, 美帝国主义. When I was a kid, I I heard this sentence, these words all the time. From the broadcast, from the across the street. Number two, Chinese have a hatred in their heart, in their bone. That's why at the beginning I say I know Chinese mentality. Because in the history, China lost the war to Japan, 甲午战争入让台湾. They lost the war to A nation ally, 八国联军. They have been looked down. In Shanghai 租界, Shanghai International Settlement, that's a sign. We all remember that. We all learned it from school, right? We're the same generation. Only dog and Chinese are allowed to get in. We all remember that. That create what? Create hatred. And I believe that's still in their bone, in Chinese bone. And they want to look down and say, oh, you Chinese don't have influence. You are set down in Asia. So what we have in education at that time is what? Chinese had to stand up and become a superpower again. China used to be a superpower in the whole world. So we want the superpower, right? That's education. The people has been brainwashed. I believe that the Chinese people in China still brainwashed with this concept. Next. And we all remember the history. A nation, they get into Beijing, they burn the palace, they grab all the good stuff from the museum and take it back home, right? All the story, we all have that. We all have that lesson in the school. Next. Okay. If they're going to possibility, maybe in 20, 30, 40 years, we don't know. But it may happen. In the not close future, but in the far future, that might happen. Why Taiwan is matter? Taiwan is the center of first island chain, 第一海防线. Right in the middle. This is a photo from China's textbook. That's, if China want to get out of the ocean and get close to the US, the best way to do it is go through Taiwan. It's because Taiwan and China share the same language, share the same customs, and if Taiwan one day, we say China should be better than US, why have to follow US rule? Next. Okay,
Dr. Lim, can you summarize at this moment?
Okay,
please.
Two more sentences. Among US, China, and Japan, Taiwanese like and dislike. Taiwanese like Japanese better. It's right here. This is a newest poll. 48%. They feel Japanese is friend. They like only 25% like US. Of course, 92. Only 9% like China. Dislike. 50% dislike China because China still intimidate Taiwan, right?
Can you do it right now, please?
Next, my conclusion is, if US still want Taiwan, need Taiwan for its best interest, US has to treat Taiwan better and help Taiwan detach from China. That's what the best interest.
Thank you.
That's my conclusion.